Welcome to Math Plus, where math makes sense. In this video, we're going to learn how to find like denominators when you have two fractions with unlike denominators. And if you look at this collage of fractions I have here, you can see they all have different numerators and different denominators. This is 5, 6, this is 4, 8. So you can see fractions come with all kinds of numbers for the denominator and all kinds of numbers for the numerator. So when we are adding and subtracting fractions, one of the rules is you can only add or subtract fractions with like denominators. So we're going to learn the skill we use for finding equivalent fractions to find like denominators between two fractions. So here's the first one. We have 1/8 and we have 1/4. So what we want to do is find an equivalent fraction for both of these fractions with a denominator that's the same. In order to do that, we are going to use multiples. In a previous video, we learned that we could find equivalent fractions by multiplying or dividing the numerator and denominator by the same number. So this, we're going to use multiples. So down here, you can see these are my multiplication strips, and you can make these or you can take a multiplication chart and just cut it up. I'll show you that in a minute. But I have my denominators are 8 and 4, so I have the multiple strips for 4 and 8. They're just like skip counting by 4, skip counting by 8. That's what multiples are. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to look for like denominators. Or like multiples, because that's going to be my denominator. You can see they both have 8. I'm going to find a few more. They both have 16. These have a lot of like ones. They both have 24. And they both have 32. And we can go on and on, but I can stop actually when I find the first one, because it's always easier to deal with the smallest number. So we're going to deal with 8. So we know that we want our denominators to be 8. So when we look at this fraction, 1/8, it already has a denominator of 8. So we don't need to change it. 1/4, for it to find an equivalent fraction with a denominator of 8, we need to multiply the top and bottom number by the same number. So 4 times what equals 8? I know that that is 2. So I have to multiply the numerator by 2. 1 times 2 is 2. So I know 1/4 equals 2/8. Now both of my fractions have like denominators, and I can add them or subtract them, whatever I need to do. Okay, about these multiplication strips, here's my set. You can see I have one for every number. I think I go clear up to 12. And it's got the multiples on them. Those are very handy to have, so you can make your own, or you can actually just sit down and write the multiples, which is the same thing as skip counting. All right, let's look at a couple more examples. Here we have the fractions 2/5 and 4/6. So we have a denominator of 5 and a denominator of 6. So I've got my multiplication strips for 5 and 6, and I want to look for the very first denominator that is the same, or very first multiple that's the same. If I look through here, it looks like it's 30, okay? Now we can look clear down here, we have 62, but remember we want the smallest. So we're going to use 30, which means we want to find an equivalent fraction with a denominator of 30 for both of these fractions. So let's start with 2/5. Now to figure out what we're going to multiply the numerator and denominator by, we can just look at the denominators. 5 times what equals 30. And if you don't know, you can say, well, there's 5, 10, 15, 20, 25, 30. That's 6 5s. So 5 times 6 equals 30. So I have to multiply the numerator by 6, which gives me 12. Now I know that 2/5 equals 12/30. Now, for 4/6, I can see that 6, 12, 18, 24, 30. We multiply 6 times 5 to get 30. So we multiply the numerator by 5, and we get 20. So now our new fractions are 12 over 30 and 20 over 30. So now they are equivalent fractions from what we started with, but now they have like denominators. Okay, here's another example. 3 over 9 and 1/2. So I have my multiplication strips for 2 and 9, and I'm looking for a like multiple. And I believe the very first one is 18. So that means I'm going to find equivalent fraction of 3/9 with a denominator of 18 and an equivalent fraction of 1/2 with a denominator of 18. So 3/9 times what? 9 times 2 equals 18. So I multiply the numerator by 2 and I get 6. 2 times 9 equals 18. Oh, this should be an equal sign. And 9 times 1 is 9. So now our new fractions are 6 over 18 and 9 over 18. Remember, they have the same value, but now they have like denominators. I'm going to end with one more example because this just takes a lot of practice. And here we have 5/12 and 3/7. So I have my multiple strip for 7 and my multiple strip for 12. Now I have to find the very first like multiple. Boy, this one, oh, I got to go clear over here. It's 84. That one took a while, didn't it? Okay, so now I know that my new denominator is going to be 84. Okay, so for 12, I got to multiply it by 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 times. 12, 24, 36, 48, 60, 72, 84. No, 7 times. Multiply that by 7. So we multiply the top number by 7. 7 times 5 is 35. Now, we already know that 12 times 7 is 84. So that means over here, we're going to multiply 3/7 by 12 over 12 because 7 times 12 is 84. 3 times 12 is 36. So see, it can even work with really large numbers. Okay, so here's our two new fractions. And as you can see, they are the same value, but they have like denominators. Again, practice is what helps you to get good at this.